Hi, I'm Luz DeBay, and I love to talk about movies 24/7. I've been fascinated with films as long as I can remember, and I upload weekly. Today I'm going to be ranking all the Spider Man movies along with the Sony spin offs. Alright, let's get started. Coming in at number 13 is Morbius. This movie is an absolute disaster. Like, almost nothing about it works. I don't think it's like one of the worst comic movies of all time, but it's pretty bad. It's no Catwoman or Batman around, but it's still really bad. I mean, it's kind of fun for like a train wreck, I guess. But there's so much wrong with it. The only positive would probably be the villain, and some of the VFX looks good. But the story's a mess, the writing's a mess, some of the acting's bad. It's very choppy. A lot of stuff was cut from the movie. Has the worst post credit scenes I ever seen in my life. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. This doesn't flow good. It just feels like a jumbled mess. It's a movie that doesn't work at all. Next up, Venom: Let There Be Carnage. This movie's kind of pointless. Unfortunately, I was looking forward to it because the first one was at least fun. Um, Woody Harrelson as Carnage was awesome. The VFX looks good. Tom Hardy is always great as Venom. But they just kind of rehashed the same thing from the first one, but just not as well. They the buddy duo between Eddie and Venom is kind of cut out because they're arguing most of the time. Um, and it just doesn't work. They teased something cool for the sequel and just ended up doing the same thing as the last movie, just not as good. The story's not good. The writing's not very good. It's just like I said, exact rehash. It doesn't go anywhere. The post credit scene is the only good part, honestly, that sets something up that's interesting. But this movie is just entirely mediocre and pointless. It should have done a lot more, but unfortunately it didn't. Next up is the original Venom. I think this movie's fun. When I saw this movie for the first time, I thought it was going to be pretty bad, but it's a fun movie. It's not a great movie. It's just it's a flawed movie, but it's fun. Tom Hardy as Venom and the relationship, like the bromance between them two, is awesome. I wasn't expecting that. This movie's hilarious. Um, it's very straightforward. It feels like a late '90s or 2000s superhero movie. But that's kind of the charm of this one. It doesn't work for the sequel, but it does work for this one because you're kind of not expecting it. It's something just unique and a different take on Venom. Some of the writing and plot points are bad, um, and the villain's generic, but it's overall a fun movie, so that's what's most important. Next up, Amazing Spider-Man 2. Um, I honestly love all the Spider-Man movies, but I'll give a fair grade. Like, it's like a C plus movie, but I still hold it close to my heart. I always loved the Spider-Man character. I'm a big fan of the Spider-Man character, in general. So I have to be fair though. Um, the villains just look super cartoonish. A lot of acting is over the top. There's too many plot lines in this movie. Too many questions that are answered that nobody was asking. There's it's just way too much happening. Some bad writing and some bad dialogue. Andrew Garfield and Gwen Stacy. I mean, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are amazing as Peter and Gwen. Have amazing chemistry, even better than Toby and Kristen, in my opinion, and they're good too. But they're just amazing. Out of all the Spider-Man trilogies, they're my favorite couple. I think they work the best. They're very well written. Like again, great chemistry. And they just work very well together. I like some aspects of the movie. It can be very funny. Has some very emotional scenes, especially the end. The ending is heartbreaking, very emotional. That's easily the best part. But besides that, it's just a fun movie. Again, fun but flawed. There's a lot of flaws, but I think there's a lot of fun to be had too. Like I said, very good emotional scenes. Great instrumental music. I love the Spider-Man costume in this one. Um, it still feel it's to me. I really enjoy this movie. You know, I did kind of leave it a low grade. I just have a soft spot for Spider-Man in general. Um, but you know, it's entertaining enough. Next up is Spider-Man 3. This is my favorite Spider-Man movie as a kid, but as an adult, it's my least favorite out of the trilogy. There's a lot to like, but there's also a lot not to like. There's very cringy scenes of the Bully McGuire, even though it's hilarious and very meme worthy. Um, there's some bad dialogue, just bad story. There's too many villains happening. Black Suit Spider-Man's cool. Um, Harry's greatest new Goblin. Um, there's some great new characters. Has a amazing ending. But there's just too much weird stuff happening in between, and just like so many unnecessary things, and this too just an overbloated movie. It's enjoyable. Once again, keep on saying it, just fun but flawed. I do love this movie. Like at like a personal level, like taking out the critical aspect, I really do enjoy it. It's like another C+ movie, but like me personally, I just love watching any Spider-Man movies. Honestly. Next up, Spider-Man: Far From Home. I actually really didn't like this the first time I saw it. I grown to like it more. I just with the Mysterio and the Mysterio scenes. I think Peter Parker makes a lot of stupid decisions. Scene that's the biggest flaw. But he's still kind of learning, and it actually something I have as an No Way Home makes this movie a little bit better. But it's just kind of odd that they just took Spider-Man out of New York and just threw him in a different country, which is kind of it's cool that it's interesting and different. But I didn't think it fully worked. I like a lot of aspects, character development between him and MJ, and Ned. And I love the villain. He was awesome. Jake Gyllenhaal was amazing as Mysterio. The ending's super cool, really great ending, but there's some stuff in the middle that feels like just like stupid MCU humor that's just unnecessary. It's a solid movie, but I wish it was a little bit better. An amazing post-credit scene and ending for this movie, phenomenal. Like that cliffhanger was perfect. That really saved this movie. Next up, Spider-Man: Homecoming. I really enjoyed this one. I think it was a solid first movie for Tom Holland's trilogy. It does feel a little too MCU like. He just kind of feel like Spider-Man Jr., but Vulture is a great villain. And very grounded, relatable. He doesn't even feel like necessarily bad. He's just trying to help his family and doing what's best for them. He's not like super over the top and trying to rule the world or anything like that. And the twist of like who he ends up being, um, and his girlfriend's dad. That was a big twist. I remember looking at my best friend like, "What? That's crazy! Like, no one expected that." Um, there's some good emotional aspects, pretty solid ending. But this one I would probably want to rewatch the least almost out of all the Spider-Mans, because there's just not a whole lot that's memorable, like action wise. There's some cool character moments, some funny moments, but it's just kind of a movie that it's just kind of there. I mean, like I said, I really enjoy it. It's a very, very good movie. But there's not a lot to go back and rewatch. It's very solid. Good characters, solid ending, like great twist. Great Spider-Man moments, but I just thought it could have been just a little bit better. But I still really enjoyed it. And these top six are all S tier movies to me. It's just hard ranking them, so I'll just keep that in mind. So coming next is Spider-Man. I know it seems to be low, but like I said, these are all S tier movies, 6 and up. This is a classic for me, one of the first comic book movies I ever saw. I rewatched this probably like 8 million times as a kid. Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, amazing as their characters. Willem Dafoe is amazing Green Goblin, amazing villain. I love the writing, the action sequences, the visual effects. Some of them don't hold up, to be fair, but a lot of this movie does hold up. Just like acting wise, the story beats. It feels very nostalgic and kind of classic Spider-Man. This is definitely one of the most rewatchable Spider-Man movies for sure. It just like, what can you say that hasn't been said? It's just a phenomenal movie. That the ending's great, super emotional and brutal. Um, has some great emotional aspects of Uncle Ben's death. It just flows perfectly. One of those timeless movies. This is definitely a hot take. But next up is Amazing Spider-Man. I know a lot of people don't love this movie, but I personally do. I think it's phenomenal. Like I said, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone are amazing as their characters. I think Lizard's a cool villain. They give him a really cool score. I don't mind the mystery aspect behind Peter's parents. I just wish it would have been executed a little bit better in the sequel. But I don't mind that mystery aspect to kind of switch things up. I like the career choices they made in this movie to make things a little bit different from the Toby movies. I might be one of the few people that actually likes this Spider-Man suit. I think it's cool. I know people say it looks like a basketball, whatever. I think it looks cool. I like a lot of visual effects, emotional aspects of Uncle Ben, Captain Stacy, and that crane scene at the end. I know some people think the crane scene at the end is cringy or whatever, but I thought it was kind of cool. And I love the fight on top of the Oscorp Tower at the end. And the chemistry between, like, again, Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield is phenomenal. I love the music choices. I love the writing and the dialogue. I think this is an amazing movie. I know some people agree, but I know it's also a hot take. Next up, we're in the top 4. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I remember hearing about this movie. I was like, an animated Spider-Man movie, whatever. I just want live action ones. And then I saw it. I was like, oh, that was amazing. First movie with Miles Morales. Amazing character, super likable, relatable, courageous. And you get all these other cool Spider-Man characters like Peter B. Parker, like I believe he's in his 40s. He's kind of worn down. He's just tired of crap. I love getting a Spider-Man like that. Just been through it, and he's just a different Spider-Man. Just had too much of life. I love that we got a Spider-Man like that. He's one of my favorite Spider-Man. He's just really cool. Spider-Gwen, amazing. Big fan of her character in general. I just heard a Spider-Gwen animated spin-off has been announced, so I'm hyped for that. I love Haley Steinfeld as the character. And others, Spider-Man characters like Penny Parker, Spider-Ham, Spider-Noir, they're all super cool. It's a very emotional story, very witty, has great humor, phenomenal animation, flows super well, great ending, great intro, great music. It's everything about it works. It's just one of those. It's one of my favorite anime movies of all time. I watched this several times. It's just such a uplifting, heartfelt movie that everyone should watch. The villains are cool. I like where they went with certain aspects with the Prowler, and I just love everything about this movie. It's just phenomenal. Next up, the most recent one, Across the Spider-Verse. This movie is amazing. It's a perfect movie. When I reviewed it, I give it an A. I just rewatched it with my mom. I'd up it to an A plus. A perfect movie. So many great emotional aspects of Miles and his family. It's definitely co-lead between Miles and Gwen. You get a great story arc of her, and like I said, I love their characters. So you get she has way more to do in the last movie. The Spot is a really cool villain that goes from kind of silly and you think he's the kind of villain of the week, and then he becomes very menacing. So I like how they went with that. And Miguel O'Hara's kind of an antagonist to Miles was also very good. Love all the Spider-Man cameos. Very, very good cameos, and it didn't overshadow the movie either. It just like worked with it. And I won't spoil the cameos since this movie just came out. I won't spoil anything about this movie since it came out. But yeah, this movie worked on every single level. Action sequence is amazing, ending is amazing, jaw dropping ending, amazing intro. I think even better soundtrack than the first one. Great instrumental, great character moments, great emotional moments, dramatic moments. Get a lot of time to spend with Miles' family, like I said. Just everything about this movie works, and I can't wait for the third chapter and this series. Coming in at number 2, Spider-Man 2. Easily the best out of the Tobey movies. I just love seeing, Peter Parker just juggling life, and he's just kind of failing. He doesn't know what to do. He just is losing everything. He's just losing jobs. He's not doing good in school. He's losing MJ. He's losing his friends. Um, Doc Ock is an amazing villain. Easily one of the best for sure. This movie definitely holds up on every level. Like the VFX and action sequences, all the dialogue and writing, great story. I love the Spider-Man suit. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but just such a great story. And there's some horror aspects, great ending, emotional moments when Mary Jane finds out that he's Spider-Man. I just love him that he just actually just quits being Spider-Man for a while, and he has to come back to it when he realizes the world is a better place with Spider-Man. I just love that whole thing. I know some people may not like that. Like it's not very well explained that why he loses powers, but I don't think that's necessary. I just think that just mentally that like he just couldn't be Spider-Man anymore, so his body just like kind of almost cut it off completely until he was mentally ready again, which I think is a really cool idea. Just a phenomenal Spider-Man movie. Easily one of the best. All right, coming in at number 1, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Easily one of the best movie theaters experiences of my entire life. And I will spoil this movie since it's been on a couple years, but the best part is like all the villains from all the movies, getting to see them again and all the Easter eggs and all the references, and Andrew Garfield and Tobey coming back was one of the best things I ever seen in a movie in general. Just so satisfying, so fulfilling, and this movie would have been great without that too. That was just a cherry on top. This movie still works with the emotional ones with Aunt May's death, heartbreaking. When Andrew Spider-Man saves MJ, like I cry like 3 times during this movie, and that's got to be a record breaker for me. Just like phenomenal fight sequences, emotional moments, dramatic moments, some very good humor. Ending is definitely one of the best comic movie endings of all time. Very emotional. I love where they end things off with Peter. They kind of make him, this regular friendly neighborhood Spider-Man without all the Iron Man attachments. And I love the interactions between the 3 Spider-Man and them working together and fighting together, and just some of the funny moments, and they had some good MJ and Ned scenes, and all the villains were phenomenal. Going back, and Willem Dafoe is better than ever. Visually, it looks amazing. The directing was amazing. I guess not everyone loves how it's set up with the spell. That's what creates it. People think it's kind of lazy writing, which I don't disagree, but I honestly don't care. It's just that's kind of just a small part for me because the rest of the movie is just perfect. It's an A+ movie for me. I watched it so many times. Watched it in theaters a couple times. It's just one of those movies that it's just perfect to me. It's like a movie I always wanted. I was like, after Endgame, I was like, the only thing that could possibly ever top this is if they got the 3 Spider-Man one movie. That was even before it was confirmed or any of the rumors and stuff. I was like, if they do that, that'd be the only contender. It's still not as good as Endgame to me. It's up there. It's like my top 3 MCU movies, but it doesn't mean it's not phenomenal. It's phenomenal movie. One of the best Spider-Man movies of all time. Tom Holland is an amazing Spider-Man. He's my personal favorite. I think Tobey is a great Peter Parker. Pretty good Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield was amazing Spider-Man. Pretty good Peter Parker, but I think Tom Holland's really good as both. That's why he's my personal favorite out of the live-action ones anyways. If we throw in the Spider-Verse characters, that's a little different, but I'm just talking about the live-action ones. But he just really sells the emotional ones. He always has to make me cry because he always sells the emotional scenes. So, and I always cry. So he's just a really good actor. Um, just truly one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion. All right. Well, that's my ranking, guys. Please let me know what you think and what your ranking is and what your number one is. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. You guys have a great day and take care. Bye.